All right, we're back. Measurement class number 4, dimensional analysis or unit conversion math. We're going to learn to convert from one unit to another. There's a lot of units to convert. Some of them you're familiar with, some of them you're completely unfamiliar with, and that's okay. Either way, same process. All right, we got to know a couple of things. We're going to need to know what a conversion factor is. A conversion factor is something like 60 seconds equals 1 minute. When 60 seconds equals 1 minute, you can make it into a conversion factor. You can say, since 60 seconds equals 1 minute, you can say then that 60 seconds over 1 minute equals 1. Now, 60 over 1 does not equal 1, but with the units it does. And you know what else? You can flip them upside down and you can do this. You can say 1 minute over 60 seconds also equals 1. This is a conversion factor, and this is a conversion factor. And every equality, you can make 2 different conversion factors with whatever you want in the numerator or denominator. As long as they're equal to each other, you can put them into a fraction form and they equal 1. So we're going to need to know what a conversion factor is. We're going to need to make some. Now, some of them you know, some of them I'm going to have to give you equalities, but any 2 things that are equal can be used to make a conversion factor. So, let's see where we are. Some of you know that if you're in love, that 12 roses equals love, right? A dozen roses is 12. If you ever buy somebody 11 roses, they're gonna think you're weird. Sometimes it's good to buy 11 roses. Sometimes it's good to be your own person. You don't have to buy 12. They sell them 12 at a time. I don't know why. When I had a bagel store a long time ago, Charlie City Bagels in Endicott, you could buy a dozen bagels. You could buy 10, but that was weird. You could buy 11, that was weird too. You'd either buy 1 or 2, or maybe you buy 12, or 2 dozen, you buy 24. How weird is that? What the heck is this dozen? It's just one of those things. How about 3 dozen? What if you're really, really deeply in love? Deeply, head over heels. It's the best kind of love. You decide to buy 3 dozen roses. How many roses come in the bundle? There's a number. Probably you could do it in your head, right? If you're smart. 36. How'd you know how to do that? Well, your brain did some fancy math called dimensional analysis. You probably don't even know what you did. I'm going to teach you what you did so you can know how to do it for the hard problems. The hard problems are coming. Harder because you can't do them in your head. They're not hard. They're just not able to be done in your head. Here's another one for you. Is 12 inches is a foot. That's called an equality, right? It's an equality. You knew that. You already knew that. If you have a 4-foot pool, how many inches deep is that? You know. Come on. 4 feet, 48 inches. How'd you know that? Your brain did dimensional analysis. I don't know how your brain did dimensional analysis, but I'm going to show you how to do it. First of all, you got to figure out what is your starting point. Where are we starting? 4 feet. In this case, it's 4.0 feet because we need 2 significant figures. We're going to start here, 4.0 feet. Now, when you write a number like that, you can also do this. Put it over 1. Any number divided by 1 is the same thing. Look at it. Same thing. The cool thing about this is, though, is the unit now is in the numerator. See over here? It's also in the numerator, but you didn't see that. Now, you can't miss it. Next, we got to look at this. It's called the conversion factor. Now, we can write it 2 different ways. We can put the inches on the top and the feet on the bottom, or reverse. We have to know which one to use. If we're going to convert from feet to inches, only one of these conversion factors is going to work. How do you decide? Well, if there's feet in the numerator, then we got to put the feet in the denominator. Watch what we're doing here. We're going to multiply this by 1 foot on the bottom, 12 inches on the top. 12 inches equals a foot. This conversion factor equals 1. We're going to multiply our starting point, our pool is 4 feet deep, times 1, which means it's going to be equal to the same height, but we're going to be able to change the units. These foot in the numerator and this foot in the denominator, feet divided by feet is equal to 1, which mathematically means we get to cancel it out. Now we just have to multiply fractions. To multiply fractions, you multiply across the top, put the answer divided by, multiply across the bottom. But of course, look, 1 times 1 is the easy one. 4.0 times 12 is 48 over 1. That is 48 inches. But we already knew that answer. This is what your brain did. It took the original measurement and it converted it using a conversion factor that you're so familiar with, you probably didn't even do this fraction in your head. You probably just did it. Sometimes we're going to have bigger numbers. Sometimes they're going to have a bunch of decimals. That doesn't make them hard. It just means you got to have a calculator and you got to kind of process it a little. You can't just do it too quickly. Look, we got it right. 4 feet times the conversion factor. This has unlimited significant figures, right? This has 2 significant figures. The answer gets 2 significant figures. So the significant figures are still significant, and here we are. Next up, 69. Convert 1.24 kilograms into grams. Now, kilograms are metric. I love metrics. You have to learn to love metrics. All right? 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. I'm going to give it to you. Okay? I'm going to give it to you. What's our starting point? 1.24 kilograms. And what am I going to do? I'm going to put it over 1. By putting it over 1, I make sure I know that the kilograms are in the numerator. Right here, kilograms are in the numerator. But here, I can't miss it. Here's my equality. I got to turn it to conversion factor. Since they equal each other, it doesn't matter which one's on top or bottom. Either way, it'll equal 1. But in order to cancel the kilograms, which are in the numerator, I got to put the kilograms in the denominator and put the 1,000 grams on the top. And look, kilograms divided by kilograms cancel out. The denominator is 1 again. That's really easy. The easy at the beginning. 1.24 times 1,000, 1,240 grams. This has 3 significant figures. This, as usual, has unlimited significant figures. Our answer is listed limited to 3 significant figures as well. And we got it right again. Look at this. This slideshow I'm presenting here, this is on the website. You could be watching this by yourself, okay? 3 significant figures, unlimited significant figures. The answer gets 3 significant figures. Bada bing, bada boom. No problem. Next up, number 70. This is a pretty big number of milliliters, 56,750. It's right here in the question, right? You can see it right there. Now, I happen to know that there's 1,000 milliliters in a liter, or 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. That's our equality. Our starting point, 56750 mLs over 1. Always get your starting point and put it over 1. By putting it over 1, you make sure you know that the milliliters are in the numerator. They are over there, but it's harder to see. Conversion factor. I'm going to put 1,000 mLs on the bottom and 1 liter on the top. This equals 1. But look what's cool about it. The milliliters get to numerator, denominator, divide, and cancel out. And this is going to be a math problem. Now this time, you got to watch. This is division. 56750 over 1,000 L for liters. And now you got to use your calculator. Now the calculator is going to do this, 56.75 liters. 4 significant figures. Some of you might have thought 56.750, but that's wrong. That is 5 significant figures, and with 5 significant figures, That's not following the rules. The mathematics limits how many significant figures are in your answer. You must round your answer to the correct number of significant figures. This has 4. This has unlimited. The answer must have 4 significant figures. And again, we got this all right again. Now, this is not hard. For real, these are easy numbers. And so far, all of our conversions have been one step. But sometimes you don't have an equality to go from what you're starting with to where you want to end up with. And we'll do some harder ones. Sometimes you have to convert and convert and convert. Sometimes it can be 3 or 4, even 5 steps. You convert from one unit to the next, and that unit to a different one to another one, until you get the unit you want last at the end of the line, and then you put the equal sign, then you do the math. Then you check your significant figures. Then you take a bow, because you probably get it right. You're all really smart. Did I mention that? They only put the really smart kids in my class. I hope you feel really smart, because I only teach the really smart kids, and since this is what's going on right now, by default, you're really smart. So get psyched. The next one's going to be a little harder. We're going to do to number 71. Now, I'm the boss here, right? Temporarily, right? We're going to defer to the teacher. So you all do the same problem. I'm going to say, magically, you were all born exactly 16.33 years ago. So you're all exactly the same age. Now, that's not true. For the math problem, it's true. We're going to make believe you are exactly 16.33 years old. If you want to figure out the exact answer for your life, you got to figure out how old you are. You can do it later for practice. So we'll make believe you're 16.33 years old. How many minutes old are you? Now, honestly, correct answer is who the heck cares? What a stupid answer. Who even cares how many minutes that is? Really? Who are you going to tell? I mean, you might tell somebody at dinner tonight because it's cute, but it's not very important. But it's possible. It's simple to figure out with dimensional analysis. Here we go. Our starting point. How old are you right now? I just told you. 16.33 Y. I'm going to use Y for years because there'll be a lot of units. I don't want to take up too much room writing. How many minutes is that in a year? I have no idea. It doesn't matter. What do you know about a year? You know what I know about a year? There's 365 days in a year. Watch what I'm going to do. 1 year, 365, D for days. D is days. It's abbreviation. Y's cancel, top and bottom. Y divided by Y equals 1. You can cross it out. If I put an equal sign here, I get an answer, but not the answer. We're looking for minutes, not days. So let's keep converting. You know how many? Does anybody know how many minutes are in a day? Probably not. What do you know about days? Days are made up of what? Say it. I can't hear you. Louder. Hours. 1 day, 24 hours. Days cancel. We're getting smaller. If I put an equal sign, the answer will come out in hours. Who cares? I don't care about hours. The question's minutes. How many minutes are in an hour? You know this one. You don't even have to look at your watch. Ready? You don't have to Google it. Just think. 60 minutes in an hour. In 1 hour is 60 minutes. And the hours top and bottom cancel. See how I put my equal sign? You know why? Because the unit that's right there, minutes, that's the unit I want. When I get units that I want, put the equal sign, and now you have to do the math. Now just note quick, on the bottom, 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, this is still a little easy. We'll get some harder ones. We got to do a little bit more calculation. Take out your calculator. You're going to do this with me. On and clear. 16.33 times 365 times 24 times 60 equals, here's a good number, 858,304.8. Oh, not 0.8, is an 8. 8 minutes. Does that sound good? Not to me. How many significant figures are we sure of here? This is 4 significant figures. How many significant figures here? In an equality, it's unlimited. In another equality, it's unlimited. And in another equality, it's unlimited. So we're only allowed to have, where is this? 4 significant figures. 1, 2, 3, 4. My finger's a little bent. I'm getting old. Things are breaking down. Here we go. Let's go 4 significant figures. 8, 5, 8. And then we have to decide with this 3. Are we going to keep it or are we going to round it up? We have to look at the number past it. It's less than 5. It's a 0. So we're going to leave it. We're going to put in a 3. And then I need 3 more zeros, though. Right? Because that's 8,583,000. So that's the answer. That's as close as you can get. When you only have 4 significant figures in your original measurement, you can only have 4 significant figures in your answer. Now, you're probably not exactly that many minutes old. But if we only know it's a 4, if it was 16.33000, we could have a couple more numbers. But we can't. And we can't put that decimal point at the end. There is a decimal point in our brains, but we don't write it, because if we write it, then all these zeros are going to be significant also. 4 significant figures only. So we have to have we know it's there, but we can't draw it in there, decimal point. That's the answer. And watch what happens. We got this one right too. Rounded to 4 significant figures. How cool is this? You guys are smart. I'm pretty good at this, and you are getting better and better. We have 3 math problems to go. Hang in there. We're going to go quick as we can. Now, this next one. Football players are used to playing on a field that's 100 yards long. They're used to doing a 100-yard dash. It's all good. It's the English system, not the metric system. A lot of you track people run the 400-meter dash. 400 meters is the metric system. It's also longer than 100 yards. So how do we compare 400 meters into yards? Let's help the football players quickly understand 400 meters is about how many yards? We have to convert 400 meters into yards. Do you have any idea how many yards are in a meter, how many meters are in a yard? Because I don't. Nope. Do not know. I'm not even worried because I know some other stuff and we're going to get there. Here we go. Our starting point. 400.m. That decimal is really important. Here it is. 3 significant figures. That's an important decimal. We're short to exactly 3 significant figures. Now, meters are pretty big. Let me see which way I'm going. Meters are pretty big. I'm going to go small. I know that in 1 meter, there's 100 centimeters. Did you know that? There's 100 cents in a dollar, and there's 100 centimeters in a meter. That's why they picked it. It's nice and metric, and 10 times 10 is a good thing to know. Meters cancel out. If I put an equal sign here, the answer comes out in centimeters. I don't want that. I want it in yards. Uh-oh, what's this blue stuff? There must be a hint. This is something you should remember. You want to grow up to be a good person. You want to have a nice house. You want to have a nice spouse. You want to have a dog that doesn't go doo-doo in the kitchen. You got to remember a couple things. And this is one of those important things to help you be a better person. You want to know that 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. If you just remember that, you're on your way. Surely you'll get a nice house out of that. Here we go. Let's get rid of centimeters. 2.54 centimeters is the same as 1 inch. And the centimeters cancel. If I put an equal sign here and do the math, the answer comes out in inches. It's English, but it's not the right unit. Let's convert inches. I know that there's 36 inches in 1 yard. And the inches cancel. I already put the equal sign automatically because I knew yards. That's what I want. Compare that into yards so we can make the conversion. We're going to convert meters into centimeters, centimeters into inches, inches into yards. The answer is going to pop out. And we got this. You need a calculator. Don't be lazy. Pick up your calculator, 2 hands, hit clear with 1 finger, on and clear. We're going to multiply across the top first. 400 times 100 equals, times 1 times 1, 40,000. Over, hit clear. Look, I'm hitting it, clear. 1 times 1 times 2.54 times 36 equals 91.44. And the unit is yards. Now that's kind of a silly number. That's a crazy fraction. So we're going to hit clear and we're going to divide it. 40,000 divided by 91.44. Don't just copy this. Do the math. Press the buttons. Be somebody. Do it. Do it. 437.4453193 yards. Exclamation point. Holy cow. My calculator is really good. Do you think that's exactly correct? How the heck do we know? How many significant figures are here? 3 significant figures. This is unlimited, unlimited, unlimited. And how about your answer? 3 significant figures. So we have to convert that. This is 437 in a bunch. Let's round it to 3 significant figures. 4, 3. Now, do we keep the 7? We look at the next number. It's a 4. Is it 5 or greater? So no, we keep the 7. 437 yards is as close a measure as we can get. If we wanted a better measure, we had to have a better measure to start. We only had 3 significant figures in our original 400 meters. We only get 3 significant figures in the answer. Oh my gosh. My wife is texting me. She told me she loves me. I'm not supposed to have my cell phone in class, but it's a weird time, right? No cell phones. I don't care what you do right now. You're not supposed to have it. You probably don't because you're good. Look what we got. $437 yards. This is perfect. This works every single time. It's like a miracle. Okay? It's like a miracle. So listen, the next 2 are a little harder. The next one is probably the craziest problem that we had all year. Now, we're going to do units that you never heard of. Later in the year, we're going to go from liters of gas, and we're going to convert it into moles, and then we're going to convert moles into grams, or we're going to get from grams to the density. I mean, we're going to do all kinds of crazy math, really. And you get better at it. It sounds hard because you don't know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. It's not hard. You know why? Because I know how to use conversion factors and how to convert from one unit to another. The next problem has got wacko, make-believe, fake units. Now, there's 2 ways to go here, right? You go this way. Hey, like my shirt, I'm still wearing this. I wear this shirt. See it? I wear it periodically. It's a periodic table. Crazy units. The units don't matter. So you can either say, this is so stupid. There's no such thing as blinks and winks and jinks and who cares? Or you can say, you know what? This is a thinking process. I have to be able to show that I can think. I can look at something and make sense of the process, even if the units are all make-believe. Now, this next problem, really, I made it up. There's no such thing. Well, look, blinks. There's such thing as blinks, but well, there's winks, too. But there's jinks and pinks and zinks. I mean, this is all silly stuff. It's a process. Figure out your starting point. Put your starting point over 1 and convert from unit to unit to unit. Now, I want you to hit pause. I want you to do this, all right? I'm going to take a break. You hit pause, and when you come back, I'll be here. And then we'll go through the problem, okay? Hit pause. I'm going to wait. Are you doing it? Or are you still watching me? Hit pause. What, are you kidding? I see you. I see you waiting for me to put it on the board and copy. Don't copy it. Do it. Do it. Watch your significant figures. I should text my wife and say, you're not doing the work. You're just waiting for me. Don't be lazy. Here we go. We're going to start out with 244 winks because that's how many we started with. Look, there's 244 winks. We're going to convert it into blinks, and it says round to the nearest whole number blink because right, it's just a blink. So we're not going to worry about significant figures. We're going to round. All right, we'll get 3 significant figures, but then we'll round it to the nearest whole number of blinks. Got to get rid of winks. I'm going to go from winks into jinks. Look, winks cancel. Then I'm going to get rid of jinks. I'm going to get jinks to pinks. Jinks cancel. Then I got to get rid of pinks. I got to go from pinks to zinks. The pinks cancel. And then I'm going to get rid of the zincs. The zincs go to blinks, cross them out, and put blinks on the top, and that's the unit we want. Put an equal sign and do all the math. Look at these crazy numbers. This number divided by this number equals this number. Now, what about significant figures? Even though we're going to round to the nearest whole number, let's pay a little attention. This has 3 significant figures. This has unlimited, because it's an equality from over there. Here's another unlimited, because it's an equality. And look, unlimited, and this is unlimited. So our answer is going to be limited to 3 significant figures. This is not our answer. This is calculations. So leave this alone, right? Use all these numbers, do the division, and that's your answer. But it said round to the nearest whole number. So even though 3 significant figures seem sensible, 6 blinks. So here's the answer. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There, we're good. See how easy this chemistry stuff is? All right, one more problem and then we're done for the day. Here we go. A long time ago, I looked on this website called MapQuest. Nobody uses it anymore practically, but it still works. How far is it from Vestal High School, to Binghamton High School? Go down the Parkway, make the loop. That's how I looked at the track. 7.1 miles. It's not that far. Some of you could walk there. You might even be able to run there. I certainly could ride my bike there. Convert that distance into meters. So we got 2 problems. Miles, English system. They're really big. Meters is the metric system, and they're much smaller. So you have to be able to go from really big miles to small units, and then you have to jump into the metrics, and then you have to make them bigger again. I gave you some hints. 3 hints. Sometimes you need them, sometimes you don't. I think we need all 3 of these. So here we go. Starting point. 7.10 miles over 1. We always put the starting point over 1 so that we get the miles in the numerator. This miles is in the numerator, but here you can't make a mistake. We got to get rid of miles. Got to make them smaller. So I know that one. That's another good thing to know. 1 mile, 5,280 feet. And the miles cancel top and bottom. Numerator, denominator. Miles divided by miles is equal to 1. Now we got feet. Feet to meters? I don't know that one. You probably don't either. Stay off the internet. Don't be looking up fake unit conversion. Do the ones you know. There's probably a conversion from miles to meters on the internet machine. Stay off the internet, because a lot of people make good looking stuff on the internet and it's all fake and dumb and stupid and can't use it. Here we go. We'll get rid of feet. I know that in 1 foot, there's 12 inches. Feet go away. Feet don't fail me now. Look what we got here. English to metric, inches to centimeters. We used that before. 1 inch, 2.54 centimeters, and the inches cancel out. We're almost there. I can almost taste it. We got to go to meters. Now I know there's 100 cents in a dollar. There's also 100 centimeters in a meter. So let's do this. 100 centimeters is 1 meter. Centimeters cancel. There's the unit I want. Time for my equal sign. And now we got a lot of multiplication to do. Get your calculator. Don't be lazy. We're on the last problem of the day. You're going to do this one. Press the buttons with me. Ready? 7.10 times 5280 times 12 times 2.54 times 1. And that gives us this big number, 1142634.24 divided by, hit clear again, 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 100. And that's meters. So we're still calculating. So let's go back to this. 1142634.24 divided by 100 equals, oh, another silly number, 1142634.24 meters. We have 3 significant figures here. The rest of these are all unlimited, so we can only have 3 significant figures in the answer. So it's going to be 114. Now, it's a little tricky here. I want you to think about this. The 1, the 1, and the 4. The 2 is too little, so I'm not going to round up the 4. 114. Is it just 114 meters? Think about this number. If this was your bank account, and in your bank account you had $11,426, and I said, how much money you got about? Would you tell me you have $114? 100? This is 11,400. Would you tell me, yeah, it's about 111, 114? No, that's 11,400 and something. This would be 11,400 and, well, that's it. 3 significant figures, 11,400. Got to throw the zeros in. Don't put the decimal though at the end because that makes 5 significant figures and we can't have that. Can't have that. So here we go. Let me erase this mess, all this good thinking. And now you can see beautiful typewritten numbers. It's all right there. So listen, dimensional analysis got a bad name. All it is converting units to units. Literally, how many inches are in a feet? How many inches are in 2 feet? That's dimensional analysis. Sometimes it's a multi-step problem. Sometimes there's units you don't really understand. It doesn't matter. It's all a thinking process. It's over and over and over. Now you have to use your units every time because if you don't write your units because you're a teenager, you think, I got this. It's no problem. I know how many inches are in a foot. But you put stuff upside down. And then at the end, you just put the unit that you want. Actually, it doesn't work out that way. The numbers don't work. And then I take out my red pen, -1, right? No units. -1, you probably get the answer wrong too, so you end up with 2 points off. If there was an easy way to do this, I would teach it to you. There's only one way to do it, the right way. I don't know any other ways to do things. You want to be something in this life, you want to have a good life, you got to do the hard work. If this was easy, you'd have learned it in the 3rd grade and you wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. They waited till your brain was big enough, right? Your brain is growing by leaps and bounds inside your head. You're finally at the right age. You're ripe. You're ready to think. You're ready to learn. But it's hard, right? It's hard. You need a calculator. You need patience. You got to go through all these problems. Now listen, there's a homework for dimensional analysis. Do that homework problem set. The answers are on arbuso.com. Check your work. If you get something wrong, figure it out. Look at the answer I gave you. If you still can't answer, you can't figure it out, call me on the phone. Or when you Zoom with me, ask me on the Zoom. Or when you come into school, say, hey, Mr. Arbuso, what the heck is going on here? I can't figure it out. I will help you. It takes practice, right? I was thinking about, what am I going to say? Yesterday when I was on my bike, I was thinking, one of the easiest things in the world must be kick a soccer ball into the net. I mean, my goodness. The net is so big. It's like all the way over there and all the way over here. And the ball is not too big, but it's big enough to kick. Kick the ball in the net. Soccer has the lowest score out of any sports. How come? Kicking the ball in the net's easy. You know why? Well, there's defense. There's all kinds of rules. There's all kinds of stuff. And you're running. And sometimes it's your left foot. Sometimes it's your right foot. Sometimes somebody's bumping into you. Who the heck knows what's going on? But you know how you score goals in soccer? You freaking have to practice. Practice, and you have to practice every day. 5-6 days a week you practice to play soccer. What an easy game. Don't use your hands, kick the ball in a big net. How hard could that be? Why do those guys and girls, why do they practice all the time? Because it's hard. This looks easy, but it's going to take practice. You got what it takes. You got to do this. You can do this. I can help you. All right? Good. This was fun. Thanks for coming to class. Bye.